Hey guys, how's it going? Again, Kim is here to my right, laughing. Right, Kim? No, she's not. Just try not to. Anyway, here we are on a week off. And most of you, maybe like me, you get about 2 days in and you start looking for stuff to do. So we got this 2022 Tundra.
No, I bore you.
She says it's good to know that I bore you. You bore them or you bore me?
You.
Oh, it bores me. You got a 2022 Tundra. This one's a crew cab, doesn't really matter what it is. I think it works on the 2023 as well. But if you have one of these things, and here we are, we're out camping. If you have one of these things, you'll realize very quickly that if you ever get stuck or you want to pull somebody from the front, you have no tow hooks on these. They didn't come with tow hooks. So what are we going to do about that? Well, let's install some, what? It's like a little chipmunk behind me. What can you do but install some tow hooks? So, AES Control offers these instructions. They're very useful. How about I just walk you through putting these tow hooks on? It's not really that hard. It's about a, what would you say, babe? Was it a 1 drink job?
I think about 3 hours.
About 3 hours. 3 hours a 6 drink job. Anyway, let's get started on this. It's actually really easy, but there's a couple little things that if you have those instructions like I had right there, you're gonna find that they're not really that useful. And I'll walk you through it instead. First of all, if you're a larger guy like me, you know, 200 and wink wink, 240 pounds, 6 foot, what was I, 6'2" yesterday? 6'2" and a bit.
So.
6'2" and about 8/16, I think. 8/16, yeah, half inch. 5'11". 5'11" when I was in grade 5. Let's get them up on some boards on a lift of some kind so that the pressure is still on the tires, so not really on jacks, because you want to support, you want the sway bar to stay up. So let's get them on some wood over there and get them up in the air a little bit so you can slide under. And we need to put the spoiler in the service position, which I will show you. So let's get cracking on that. Now that you're up in blocks, you have just enough room for your massive chest or head. The bare minimum is you need to get the front fairing into the service position, which means drop it down so you can access the sway bar bracket. So let me show you how to do that. Here we are inside the 22. So to get your fairing into the service position, you can't do it. What they forget to tell you is you cannot do it from this position where the truck is not running. It has to be first running. So gas pedal, start it. If you're putting these tow hooks in, you probably already know how to start your truck. Okay, so you start it, it's running. So then go, shut it off, hold up the wiper stick for 2 seconds. That's it. It should be down. Later on, when you want to put it back down, just start the truck and drive away. It'll go down. There you go. Fairing is in the down position. All right, let's get some tools. Doesn't seem like much, does it? 17 mil socket. You could have a torque wrench if you're so inclined. I think I know something around 50 or 6 pounds per square inch, which is what the torque value is when you're reinstalling the bolts. Or somewhere between monkey and gorilla tight, somewhere in there. But for you people at home, I can't advise you any other way. You should probably use a torque wrench. Starting from the front left of your truck, and you'll know this because that bracket upstairs there says FL. I'm guessing that's front left. I actually did one already over there. I did the right hand side one, just so I could get the bloopers out of the way and put them at the end of this video with the bolts and the bracket smashing me in the head and the stitches and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, you get a bracket. You got this bracket, this bolt, bracket goes around, bolt back there. With this air dam or whatever it's called still up is really tough to access. You can't get it. So that's why that's got to be down. Another thing that I found was these clips sort of interfere with you taking this plate off. You may not have a problem getting this off. If you don't have to, that's great. But, and I'm not telling you this, but I just busted those tabs off. I wasn't too worried about it. I think they're just for retainer, just to hold this. You know, if the bolt falls out, this kind of just stays hanging there, and doesn't really do anything. Anyway, 17 mil, and let's take those two bolts out. All right, kids, here's your bracket. You'll notice a split bushing here. If this split bushing falls off, just pay attention that the squared up face of this rubber bushing goes forwards, not backwards, like a blooper you might see later on. Reserve your bolts. You're going to use them again. Let's get the new bracket. All right, there's your tow hook bracket. Actually quite a bit beefier than the stock bracket. So if anything, it's stronger. Well, it probably needs to be stronger because you might be yanking on the thing. So goes the same way that one come off. Those clips, I bent those two forward, as you can see. I don't know how you get that lower bracket off there without bending them. If you can find a way, good for you. The back one, I don't know of any way to get this lower bracket on here without snapping that little tab off or bending it backwards. This little guy right here, see it? I just broke it right off. Again, what you do is up to you, but that's the way I did it. You're probably going to want a rod just to reposition and kind of line things back up. And you put the bolts back in. Right. Get your bracket up there and start the bolts by hand. Don't just start pumping them in there and strip those threads, because you know what happens next. A one-beard job turns into a lot of cursing and swearing. And a weekend job because you got to tap, well, not really weekend, but a couple-hour job because you got to re-tap it out. So don't do that. All right, once you're started in there pretty good, you can grab your impact or your ratchet and snug them in. All right, we are in. Left hand, right hand, all in. Remember what I said about those clips? There's your front ones. Those front clips would do absolutely nothing anyway. Let's get you focusing over here. These front clips would do nothing anyway. They wouldn't catch anything. They wouldn't do anything. So don't be afraid. Don't be upset if you break them off. It doesn't really matter. Same with the back one. If you do not, let me zoom in on that. You can see that. Low light. If this is not pushed out of the way, then it will interfere in you getting this bracket down. So you pretty much have to bend that clip out of the way, like I did, or like you might do. Anyway, let's see what it looks like from the front. These came in red. They're for the TRD. I don't have a TRD, but they come in black and all sorts of stuff. But you know what? They're hiding underneath, and who cares if they're red? And if they're red, they're racing, right? Is that wrong? Yeah. V6. I don't know about racing. All right, there's your tow hooks installed. Like I say, you can't see them anyway, so what if they're red? From the side you can see them, look at that. Big deal though, right? Here's one. There's the other one. Installed. And now, when you get stuck or somebody else gets stuck, you got a much better chance of getting pulled out or pulling somebody out. I think they came in at about $200 for the hooks. not cheap, but you know, what are you going to do if you're stuck or somebody else is stuck? You're going to hook onto the spring? Going to hook onto that plastic bumper up there? No, likely not. What else do you want to see? Let's see what's under here. Oh, how do you get in here? I can't remember. I go under here so little. A bit dirty. Twin turbo V6. About 400 horsepower and about 450 foot-pounds of torque, which is more than the V8 had. And I can tell you honestly, it pulls the camper a lot easier than the V8 does, with much better fuel mileage. And that's it. That's it from here in the campground. There's Kim's feet. I won't show you the best parts of her. Anyway, back to drinking and whatever else we're gonna do. Say goodbye, honey.
Bye.